Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel for that matter if you're brand new. And firstly, I just want to say, as always, thank you for taking your own time out to check out this movie review, where today I'm actually talking about a movie that is actually releasing tomorrow in cinemas in the UK and the US, but also in the US on Peacock as well. And it's a movie called Marry Me. So Marry Me is actually directed by Kat Coiro, if I pronounce that correctly. And when I've checked up her filmography, she's mainly done like a lot of TV work, like episodes on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Shameless, and many other different projects. And she is also going to be directing the up-and-coming She-Hulk series on Marvel also, so definitely directed to watch out for. But another point I need to bring up in this movie review before we start is this is actually based on a graphic novel by Bobby Crosby, but I've never actually read those graphic novels, so I can't tell you if this is like an exact what happens in those novels, or they've kind of pulled a different variation from it. I really can't tell you. Anyway, we've got a bit of an all-star cast in this movie. We've got Maluma, Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson, Chloe Coleman, John Bradley, Sarah Silverman, Michelle Buteau, if I pronounce that correctly, and we've also got Jimmy Fallon. What is the plot overall around of Marry Me? Well, it's essentially around a singer called Kat Valdez, who's played by Jennifer Lopez, and minutes before she is about to get married live in front of 20 million people to her partner called Bastian, who is played by Maluma, she finds out that he's actually been cheating on her with her assistant. And through kind of just a random act, she picks someone in the crowd who is Owen Wilson's character, Charlie. And at that point, he's on the sign saying, "Marry me." And she just goes out on a whim and says, yes, she will marry him. They get married, and mainly this movie is around, can these two actually coexist, get along and know each other and actually maybe fall for each other, or is it kind of all just going to lead to a downward spiral? So what are my overall thoughts on the movie Marry Me? Well, firstly, I've got to say that I actually had a really good time with this movie. Now, rom-coms aren't particularly ones where every single time I go watch a movie, I'll go watch a rom-com, but I do really like them. So this movie was no exception and definitely adds to that list of movies I actually really enjoyed. So with that in mind, let me get straight to my positives on Marry Me. Firstly, I think this movie is definitely held and captivated and pushed over with the script by our two main lead performances of Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson. I think these two really help sell this ridiculous, crazy premise, which by all means, it is a very fun premise and slightly different to what I've seen previously. So I will give the film that for going in a slightly different route for sure. Now, one thing I also love as well, especially about Owen Wilson's character of Charlie Gilbert, is that he's just a general maths teacher. He's got a daughter, but he doesn't exactly have like a load of money or anything like that, and he's not really much on social media at all. He actually has a phone from like what, maybe early 2000s or maybe early 2010s, I would say. Yeah, you know, I really love one thing in this movie in particular is that the costume department, who I've got to give a massive props to also, which I'll get to shortly, but especially with Owen Wilson's character, he's wearing just general clothes, or he maybe wears like a buttoned up checky t-shirt for school with like a jacket overcoat or like a blazer kind of thing. So I really just love the simplicity of his costumes throughout the movie. The costume department is where I've really got to give praise for Jennifer Lopez. Now, I do know that she was an executive producer in this, and out of the 12 songs on the soundtrack, she actually sang on 8 of them, where some of them were collaborations or some were by herself. Anyway, costume department for Jennifer Lopez was sensational, and it definitely gave you the feel and vibe that she was a world-class singer. Now, she is anyway in real life, but in the movie, it really sold that appeal to it as well. You've got a lot of designers in here. Well, our two leads are very likable, and you want to see them get along. You want to see them actually getting together, and there's never really a point in this movie where the two actually have like a big argument that they normally have in a rom-com, and then that kind of separates them and then get them back together. Surely that does happen, yeah, for sure. But at the end of the day, the two performances by them are awesome, and the supporting cast as well were really good, especially Sarah Silverman. She was really a great companion to Owen Wilson as she plays this guidance counsellor in the school with Owen Wilson as he's a math teacher. Yeah, I really liked her character. And John Bradley in this also, I've got to give an honourable mention. He was actually pretty good. He's not on the screen for a lot of the time, but as a manager to Kat Valdez, I felt like he played a fine part. I didn't really mind it as such. And the music in this was really good, but at the end of the day, it was mainly done by Jennifer Lopez, I believe, and she sang on 8 songs. So yeah, the music itself was actually quite catchy as well. If I was to go into any negatives with the movie, I would say that this clocks in for nearly 2 hours. At times, I wasn't bored, but don't get me wrong. But at times I felt like this could have been maybe trimmed to like say 100 minutes, where I think that would have been a little bit sufficient and helped with like a little bit of the pacing, because we get some really exciting moments and then we get some like down moments, and then we get some moments where it kind of tries to build it back up and it kind of gets there, but then it's sometimes doesn't. So I felt like the pacing was a little bit off, and they could have been trimmed down a little bit. Maluma is a talented singer, and I'm glad with the representation that he got in this movie in terms of he's a Colombian singer and a bit more exposure. And I heard that he's maybe been nominated for like Grammys and stuff. I don't know if he's ever won them, but I know he got nominated, so it's really good to have that exposure for him. I will say that his acting wasn't really the best, being honest with you, and how his character was written. Yeah, he's this kind of slimeball guy, and this movie definitely does have some predictability to it. Now again, I'm never against predictability, because by all means, that, you know, it's kind of playing a movie safe for sure, and sometimes I don't mind that. I just wish that in this movie, the predictability, I felt like some of it wasn't really needed to kind of carry over the movie, because the movie was going great and at a great pace as it was, you know, and then the payoff at the end was there, but not 100%, and I think it is because of a couple of bits of like the runtime and the predictability factor. Now the songs, as I said, are catchy, but some of them I couldn't really differentiate because some of them sounded very familiar to the others. So if you want a date for Valentine's, I would say that this movie is for you, and maybe take your respective partner or a date to go see this movie. Or you're a fan of rom-coms or Jennifer Lopez or Owen Wilson, I would definitely say that this movie is for you. For a casual movie audience, it's still an enjoyable movie, but there is bigger titles out there right now that you may prefer to see. So with all that in mind, my overall score for Marry Me is... If you've enjoyed this review, please give this video a big thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. Have you seen Marry Me? And if so, or if you're going to see it, let me know all those thoughts down below, and let's continue the conversation there. But until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.